Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, we're very serious. There is a serious situation taking place right now. It has for the last 4 or 5 hours. I've been waiting for more confirmation, and I got it. There is a Russian evacuation taking place at that nuclear plant, power plant there in Ukraine, which is on the border of Russia, Ukraine. There is an evacuation going on. I'm going to tell you all about it in just a second. First, let's put a shout out right now for www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com, guys. And here's the deal, okay? Americans' motivation for fitness has never been higher than this summer even. A shocking 42% of Americans have stated they want a beach body. Really? Good luck with that. But you could. Because many of whom are switching to a keto diet to reach these goals. But to help reach these goals, I highly recommend taking this, the amazing keto powder. It is one of the most popular keto supplements on the market because it will help give you the benefits of those elevated ketones even without following that difficult, highly restrictive keto diet. You don't have to do that. Take this, which means you don't even have to eliminate the carbs. It's specifically formulated to boost your metabolism, control the appetite, heighten the energy levels, and it's 51% off. Plus several other free bonuses if you click that link below and go to www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. You'll be glad you did that. And, hey, get that beach body. Oh, yeah. Well, you're not going to have anything if you stay around Ukraine long, especially if you're anywhere near this power plant. You know, Mike from the World said, if you watched his interview with him on Patreon Monday night, I did an interview with Mike around the world exclusively on Patreon. If you haven't watched it, you got to go see. He said then, and those of you who have watched it know this is true. He said Monday night that there was a theory that the reason that Prigozhin, it was a fake coup, send him to Belarus, get him in position maybe to still go after the capital of Kiev, but more importantly, blame him for a catastrophe at the nuclear plant there in Ukraine. Mike said that the intel was that was a strategic plot. Will they do it? I don't know. Or are they going to do it? Is that what's going on? Because people are evacuating now that plant. I'm talking workers, the staff at that nuclear power plant in Ukraine, the Zaporizhzhia. It's got 18 letters. They have literally, guys, the situation's out of control, really. Russia is reducing its presence at that nuclear power plant in Ukraine, and that's according to Ukraine's military intelligence, which is confirming what Mike from the World said from his intelligence on Monday night. So it took 4 days, it took 5 days, but what Mike said could be in play looks like is in play. The agency's chief has alleged that Moscow has approved a plan to blow up that Ukraine nuclear power plant and has mined 4 out of 6 power units, as well as the cooling pond. And last week's Ukraine's president, Vladimir Zelensky, said Russia was plotting some type of terrorist attack. But according to the GUR, several representatives of Russia's state nuclear energy agency has already left. Putin pulled them out of there. Ukrainian employees who stayed at the plant and signed contracts have been told to evacuate by this coming Monday. And preferably, you need to head to Crimea. The intelligence agencies have named 3 senior individuals: the plant's chief inspector, the head of the legal department, and the deputy in charge of supplies, who have already departed. It said that a number of Russian soldiers at the station and in the nearby town has been drastically reduced, and they have left. Since seizing that plant last year, the Russian army has turned it into a military base. It moved hardware into the turbine halls, including armored vehicles and ammunition. Soldiers have used this territory to bombard Ukrainian towns all across the area. This has mostly dried up in this reservoir after that dam broke. Downstream, the water has blown up about a month ago. So now Western governments and Kiev are saying that NATO is saying Russia deliberately sabotaged the dam to impede Ukraine's counteroffensive. But of course, Ukraine is saying that's what Russia did. But Russia's saying, no, Ukraine did it. Okay, to be fair. Russia says Ukraine did it to slow down their war efforts. So former plant workers are actually telling the media it would be difficult to damage these reactors, which were protected by very thick steel and concrete. But they said the small cooling pond, which the Russians have allegedly mined, was more vulnerable, as was a dry storage area used for spent nuclear fuel. So an explosion in the cooling pond could lead to a partial nuclear meltdown, similar to 1979's 3 Mile Island, or to the Chernobyl event. According to the U.S. state of Pennsylvania, a former senior engineer said, in a scenario, most radiation, you could maybe contain most of it, but not all of it. He had, of course, you are an absolute maniac, and opened the ventilation channels. If you did that, if you opened all the ventilation and then blew up the cooling pond, you'll be throwing radiation all over the place, out into the public. Okay? There is the plant contains 24 spent fuel assemblies. It has 120 hermetic steel casks. In a normal situation, they're absolutely safe, but if you wanted, you could destroy them. You could shell it several times. This would cause a nuclear accident with radiation releasing. Before the full-scale invasion, the plant used to have 11,500 people working there. Today, there's 2,500, but now it's way less than that, as Russia is sending key personnel away, as well as a lot of their soldiers. So the GUR said Friday that the personnel remaining at the station has been instructed to blame Ukraine in case of any emergencies. Russia has claimed Kiev has endangered the station by shelling it. But Mike Brown of the World says it's very possible that Russia may do it and then blame it not on Ukraine, but blame it on the Wagner Group. Now, why would they do that? And that's what I asked Mike. Why in the world would you do that? He said that because Russia for over a year has been, they have trained an entire unit, quite large, on how to clean up a nuclear disaster. And so if there is an accident, even if it's a deliberate accident, the world will have a humanitarian crisis on our hands. Everybody will flee the area, both Russians and Ukrainians, but the Russians could send in this special unit, this special division, who would have to go in there and clean the area up over a period of about 6 months. But then Russia would control the entire area. So, wow. Someone just asked, why are you wearing dark glasses if the eyes are the window to the soul? I do, because I had a stroke and damaged the optic nerve of this left eye. And so the camera lights in here hurt it. If I take these glasses off, the lights in here are too bright. it'll be a piercing pain. Same thing if I walk out into sunlight. So my apologies. I'm not trying to hide the window to my soul. I have had surgery. I had surgery, but it did not correct that. Okay. It did remove cataracts off my eyes, and but it did not. We could not correct that. So my apologies. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses at night. I could lower the lights, but then the green screen won't work. The whole situation doesn't look good. Now, if I'm in a hotel room somewhere, I do that. I don't have to wear the glasses. And even the television station that I do my television shows at, Channel 45 in Orlando, they got the lighting is so perfect, it doesn't hurt. They do it so well, it doesn't hurt. But most of the time when I'm in a studio like this, it hurts too bad. So my apologies. Okay. Back to the story. This is serious. So Mike from around the world has money. So if you didn't watch this, if you didn't go to my Patreon channel and watch that, and he talks about a whole lot more than that I can't say. I can now say this part of what he brought out because it has now hit the mainstream. Well, not the mainstream media, but it has hit some of the European media. And now I'm telling you about it. This is a real situation. So, again, we're watching very close for what's going to happen. But they are, it's very strange. Why would you be evacuating these people? Why would you be sending people home? Why would you have a scale down to hardly nothing? And the people that are left are saying, we were told to do this. So it's very possible that Russia may be going to strike this nuclear plant, try to put that cooling pool out of condition, blame it on Prigozhin, and then it'd be Russia. It has to save the day to go in and fix it. Guys, we ran a special last night with Mike Around the World. I'm just gonna leave the special open through Sunday night, okay, up until Sunday night midnight. But this is one of the best webinars we ever did, and it's called Armies of the Antichrist. It's 11 DVDs, with some of the best speakers I ever pulled together for a webinar. This is normally $70. If anyone gives a donation of $50 or more through Sunday night midnight, you don't even have to order this. I'll send this to you for free. So if you give a donation of $50 or more, I'm shipping this to you. And listen to this. General Jerry Boykin said, looking into the eyes of evil. So what an interview this was. Bishop Athanasius Schneider, the Archbishop of Kazakhstan, said there's 4 characteristics of the Antichrist. Amazing. Pastor Paul Begley, I did a 1 hour revelation called the 10 Kings of Revelation. People love it, and it's awesome. Dr. David Robbins did the Jerusalem Factor. Dave Robbins, of course, he's Dr. Irvin Baxter's son-in-law. Well, he's good. Tim Che, who's a film director, did a film called Interview with the Antichrist. And so I interviewed Tim Che, and it's amazing. B.C. Begley, my son Bart, did a documentary, it's in here, called Armies of the Antichrist. Mike Around the World, I interviewed him for an hour, and this is amazing. The Inner Thoughts of the Antichrist. Colonel David Giammona and Troy Anderson on Military Guide to Armageddon. Wow. Pastor Mark Biltz, Signs of the End Times. Pastor Steve Ciccolani of Australia, Persecution of the Church. And Rex Bear, Ancient Scripts of the End Times. All 11 of these hours. So you had 11 hours of amazing, and boy, is it coming true. And so if you want to get that, you go ahead, you can do that. There's a lot going on here, guys, but this is very, very upsetting. Matter of fact, listen to this. Ukraine is urging the international community to pay attention to this situation at the plant and put pressure on Moscow to step back from the brink and don't send the key personnel home or don't sabotage this facility. Officials are pointing out that Zelensky warned that the Kremlin might do this, might blow this thing up last year. Also, the chief rabbi of Ukraine, Moshe Osman, has warned the entire world community to do everything in its power to stop this possible catastrophe. And this week, Russia told the United Nations Security Council that it had no plans to blow up this plant. It previously assured the council it would not invade Ukraine. And then it did. They assured it. They were at the UN. They said, we assure you, we're not invading. We're not going to invade Ukraine. Don't worry. We're not going to do that. And then they did. So when they tell you, don't worry, we're not going to blow the plant. We're not going to blow up this. We're not going to sabotage that nuclear plant. At this critical moment, Russia's own future is in the balance. We need readers to support Ukraine. Well, I think America's done more than enough. And so, now, be fair. In war, all's fair in love and war. Ukraine could be even behind all this and trying to blame Russia for it. So, there's a lot of swirling going on, okay? And we're not sure who's doing what. Key point. This nuclear power plant is in a dangerous spot of the world. And either side, in desperation, could do this and blame the other. Propaganda's flying everywhere. So I just don't think Russia would do it. I really don't. Because Russia really wants to take Ukraine. If you take it, you want to take it and still have something that's worth a value. You don't destroy it and then want to take it. So I really don't believe it. I really don't believe Russia will do it. I don't believe Russia. But I'm not saying that one of these rogue outfits like the Wagner Group could do it just spite Putin. Ukraine, I don't think they would do it because why would they want to ruin their own country? But when you have so many radical groups and gangs and groups that are just, when you're in a war zone, anything and everything could happen. So we need to pray that this doesn't happen. I am not blaming Russia at all. I just know Russia is evacuating. The news here is Russia is, there's no question, evacuating key personnel and lots of personnel from that nuke plant, including a lot of Russian soldiers. Don't know what that means, but that is happening. There's one more information. I'm going to be back in just a couple minutes. There's another breaking news story. I'm going to bring it to you. I'll be right back after that. Thank you guys for dropping in, and I'll be right back right after this. I see geese flying high above the water, a child fishing with his father in the rain. I can smell blackberry brandy and chocolate-covered candy. I see a soldier crying on a train, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. feel the deepness of his weakness. I can taste the brandy sweetness at a roadside Idaho cafe. I can hear old Teddy laughing, Fitzgerald's toes a-tapping to the roaring sounds of yesterday. Falling asleep, reading Hemingway, and the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And the light under the Tiffany lamp glows all night long as I dream with weary wonder, leaving Earth before the dawn. I walk the lonely streets of Paris. I was lost and so afraid, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. And a shotgun blast echoed across the page, falling asleep, reading Hemingway. I'll be back again, guys, in about 15 minutes with another major breaking story. God bless. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Yeah, the wars and rumors of wars. That's what this is. Wars and rumors of wars.